Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to another entry here, a rare one, as this is for a very new film which is just now hitting home rental, that being for the 2024 film Abigail, which is starring a great cast in that we have Melissa Barrera, Dan Stevens, Kevin Durand, Catherine Newton, the late Angus Cloud, who you may know from Euphoria, and of course the amazing, and even though in a small role in this, Giancarlo Esposito. And the synopsis for Abigail is as follows. After a group of criminals kidnap the ballerina daughter of a powerful underworld figure, they retreat to an isolated mansion, unaware that they are locked inside with no normal little girl. So first, this little girl, played by Alicia Weir, I was not familiar with her going into this, but she did an absolutely amazing job. But let's move on to the meat of this story. So this film definitely starts out as more of like a crime kidnapping style caper in a way to begin with. You know, the abduction of the little girl from this mansion at night, getting away, meeting up at this creepy older mansion. We have a good introduction of our crew and Giancarlo, who's kind of organizing this kidnapping. No real names, no real info, just hang out here for the next 24 hours until you receive payment for this little girl. So, of course, we do have some small issues coming up. You know, nothing big, just small ones within the team, such as some personalities clashing, but really nothing major, as they try to avoid giving too much information about themselves. But some stuff does leak out here and there in a way which makes it easy for us to understand who these characters are, where they're coming from, without needing a very lengthy backstory for each. But then slowly and creepily we move forward with this 24 hours, and as the night goes on and they're exploring this mansion, some issues start to arise. You know, very creepy stuff with this place all broken down, dirty, in major disarray. And especially as the synopsis and trailer indicate that this little girl is not what she seems. You know, beyond her trying to get sympathy through some really good manipulation and through her intelligence and how she can play these characters against each other, there's something much darker happening with her and within this house. Now, as usual, I'm trying to avoid any major spoilers, so some of this might be a little bit vanilla and quick, but basically dealing with each other, the house, and this little girl escalates and escalates until they are literally in a fight for survival. They're trying to get through to morning as you realize that those behind the situation are likely linked to this crime syndicate in a way where they had heard previous tales of ones who had gone up against this syndicate and how gruesome their fate was. You know, that no matter what happens, they are far from safe throughout this night, and even if they eventually kind of come to the realization that if they weren't locked in, they would be up for just leaving. Stuck out, screw the money, get out of the situation. That's how terrified they are about a potential gruesome fate. But they're locked in. Now, as this was a bigger release than some of the other films I've been coming across recently on streaming, has a much bigger, more polished feel to it. You know, one comparison I would make is maybe to the Samara Weaving film Ready or Not. We have a bigger budget and release, some scary stuff, but it does feel a little bit more like a mystery and thriller for most of it. Until, you know, not much really frightening horror so much as we do get a lot more action coming out and a lot more gore in that it does not skimp on the blood, and it only uses the digital effects when it's really necessary to kind of amplify the scene, which literally just made me want to take a shower afterwards. Some of it was so disgusting. But what this movie does well is the pacing and how they kind of lay out the cards and bring the story through. We get the kidnapping caper, we have the hiding out, the mystery starts to unfold, things get very violent, shock and awe, twists and turns, and a very satisfying ending to this with all those twists that definitely makes it more than worth checking out. And speaking of checking out, thanks for checking out this latest video for Abigail, which at the time of this video is just about to hit Blu-ray. I believe if I release this on Monday, the Blu-ray is coming out on Tuesday. There's also supposed to be a lower digital rental cost around that same time. And these days, you know, for all we know, it's also popping up on a streaming service that you already have access to. So check around if it sounds interesting. Anyways, that's about all that I got for this one. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing and hitting that little bell icon to get notifications for when I put up new content, which is usually 1 to 3 times a week. That's all I got, and I will see you in the next one.